Hi, my name is Robert Isaias. I actually did my poster project on the research performed by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson. The title of the research was Teacher Expectations and Intellectual Pupil Development. This actually became known as the Pygmalion effect. The type of research and the way that the way the results were achieved is becoming known as the Pygmalion effect. Interesting point for myself. In working in corporate America for a long time, and in school, in other settings like that, have heard this term. Found out that I've been, a research study using this method. I never really knew about it, but it did jump at me right off the page when I was going through the list, and I found it really, really intriguing. So you can see the layout of the poster of everything clearly identified, hopefully easily laid out. I did stick to the layout that was suggested, but it did seem like it was the easiest way to get everything where you needed it to be and make it jump off the page. I know the font isn't super dark. I'll get to some close-ups in a little bit to hopefully let you actually read some of the information a little more carefully. But here we go. So in 1962, Rosenthal and Jacobson had this idea to do a research study to determine if it was possible to achieve different results from, in this case, students, by using different methods. What they actually did was they took a classroom of students, and they actually taught them differently than other students in other classrooms. They let let's say classroom B, know that there was a different level of expectations, that they were working towards something, that there was an attainable goal that they had to work toward, and use a lot of positive reinforcement to motivate them to do so. In doing this, how they got that information was they gave the students an IQ test early on at the beginning of the research study, and then later on tested them again with the same exact test to see if students who were taught in a more traditional manner scored any differently than those who were taught with this new type of motivation, this new type of teaching. Like I said, the theory was that if you incent a student differently, motivate them differently, if you let them know that there is a goal that they need to achieve, something to obtain, they will in fact shoot higher because they know what the goal is. If a student goes into something blindly without having a clear, direct path, then they will only get as far as they can on their own. The results were that yes, you definitely can, if you motivate a student differently, if you give them a clear set path, if you, in this case, let them know what the goal is, what the end point is, you can actually motivate them to get there far easier than just to give them kind of the necessary tools to create their own path or their own road. And unfortunately was not without its controversy. Many people believe that by teaching this way or using these type of methods, it's actually a form of manipulation. I can understand that, specifically using this type of method in corporate America and working through professional settings. Essentially, yes, if you tell your department, your group, that they have a certain particular sales goal, that's the number they push for. If you just let them see how high they can go, they typically are going to cut themselves off a little bit shorter because they're not sure what it is they're trying to obtain. So it can definitely be seen as a form of manipulation, but it doesn't change the fact that in doing so, in teaching this way, using this type of method, you definitely get the results that you're going for. My references, I had 4 different references, everything that was included in the project portfolio itself, but then I also added another one here, so I'll give you a close-up on that. And then under the research methods, I actually have a chart and a graph. The chart actually refers to the way the students tested with the IQ gains, compared one class to the other, and the difference from the beginning to the end. And then also kind of a corporate graph that actually explains a little more detail about how others' beliefs, others' actions, our beliefs, and our actions all kind of coincide and are cyclical. So that was really kind of interesting. And then some more details on that there. I had a lot of fun with this project. Like I said, I'd heard the term Pygmalion effect, but didn't quite know what it meant. So now that I know what it means, I found out that we kind of do this daily in both school and work and relationships. I think it's kind of become the norm for the way we achieve things. So I'll go ahead and give you some close-ups on it so I can close up the presentation. Of course, I welcome any questions. So I'll get a little closer so you can look at the research. There's my intro there. And then the theories. And back up a little bit on this. So you can see the charts down here. And just a description of exactly what was there. Lastly, you've got the results of the study there. And my references there. Like I said, I actually had a lot of fun reading about the research, especially to realize that as a society, we actually use this daily in our lives. I definitely know that I use it with people, relationships, with students, with athletes, all the time. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it, and I welcome any questions that anybody has. Thanks.